Can you hear me now? What? Huh? Recently, I've been shooting more video commercially and I wanted to up my audio game. So today I want to talk through 5 things that I've picked up that I think have improved my audio quality and didn't cost me that much money. So I tried to go for things that would give me the best bang for my buck. So that means used gear or older models that are pro level, but maybe one generation behind. So in terms of photo, that's usually, say, instead of getting the A7R Mark IV, you get the A7R III. And in terms of audio, I think it's even a better deal because often the previous generation of audio equipment offers almost the same functions and the same quality. It's just a cheaper price and you're saving some money. Everyone wants the best gear and the newest gear and the coolest gear, especially if you watch a lot of YouTube. There's always people saying, hey, get the newest, get the latest, get the greatest. But I'm a big fan of getting equipment either used or getting something affordable that can level up your production value without costing you a lot of money. It's more challenging with camera bodies, but with other things like lenses and especially audio gear that hasn't changed that much over the years, I think buying used is a great option. Hey, my name is Mark. I'm a photographer, videographer, and I make content around camera equipment, video, photo. I make adventure and creativity content along with my wife, Brenda. And if that's something you're into, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe. And if you don't, then just stop watching because... All right, let's get started. I'm gonna talk through 5 pieces of gear that I think have really upped my production value. So first up, the Deity V-Mic D3 Pro. A ridiculously long name. Basically, it's just an on-camera shotgun mic that gives you way better audio performance than you will get out of the on-camera mic. A couple things that I like about this mic. I've used the Rode video mic, the Pro Plus, the Pro, but I like that this mic has just super easy to adjust gain on the back here. Gives good audio quality. I've been using it for about a year now and it's been a great mic. This foam piece comes off and I also got the dead cat for it, which helps cut the wind noise. And yeah, overall, it's been good. This little levels adjustment here allows you to have a low pass filter and cut out some of that ambient, if there's any hissing or humming, you can turn this on. But I haven't had to do that. I think the audio sounds pretty good just as is. It charges via USB-C and advertises a ridiculously long battery life. I've never had any issues with it running low on battery and it charges relatively quickly. The one thing that I don't like as much is the mount here. It's got this kind of funky, slidey mount and sometimes it comes loose, but it's not that big a deal. Hasn't been that much of a problem. So that's the Deity V-Mic D3 Pro. You could probably pick one up used, but they're also not that expensive. I think it's around 200 bucks new, so not a bad deal. Next up, I'm gonna talk through the Lav Mic that I'm using. I did a review on this last week. You can go check that out. I'll link it down below. But this little wireless transmitter plugs into this Lav Mic that is here. It's what you're hearing the audio from right now. Wirelessly transmits it to the camera. And yeah, if you wanna learn more about that, go watch my other review after this video and you can learn about it. Next up is the Tascam Dr10l. Basically, it serves the same function as this Lav mic. It's a little higher quality and it records internally. So I like the fact that it has higher quality and I like the fact that you can do both at the same time. So if I want redundancy, I can put this mic on somebody, hit record, then plug in the little wireless transmitter and it transmits it to the camera and that way I don't have to deal with syncing the audio later. And I get internally recorded here, just the audio file, and in the camera, it records it right into the video file. So that's a handy little thing when combining these two, this little transmitter, wireless transmitter with the Tascam Dr10. This also gives you some additional functionality like auto levels. You can dual record at 2 different levels. So you get a track at a normal, whatever level you set, and then you get a second track at minus 12 dB. So that allows you to avoid, if somebody suddenly talks louder or starts shouting or something, you can use that second backup track and your audio won't be, peaking. So that's handy. Tascam Dr10l. Next up is the Tascam Dr40. I believe the latest model is the Dr40X, but the Dr40, I picked this up on eBay. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it. I think it was less than $100. I'll put the price up here. But this thing has been handy as like a backup recorder. When I'm recording an interview, I can just put this on the table or something near the person and just have a second audio source. And so if I'm recording an interview, I can put this on the table, I can have the Dr10l on the Lav Mic, and then I can have the wireless transmitter running it into the camera. And that allows me to have 3 audio sources and just have a little bit of redundancy. This thing's a little bit cumbersome and the user interface isn't the greatest. One thing to note is that if you hit the record button, that doesn't actually start recording. You have to hit it twice. So if you get this recorder, definitely keep that in mind. But it records to an SD card. It's pretty basic. One thing it does offer is you can rotate these little things outward and get a broader range. But the main thing I use this for is just some kind of backup. You can also plug in to a DJ system or a microphone that somebody is using for a PA system. And you can also use it to record like ambient sounds. And something to think about is that, because this track isn't being incorporated into the camera, if you're recording something that is gonna be synced with motion, the sound has to match. So if it's something continuous, like the sound of a creek or some kind of wind or ambient sound like that, where it's pretty continuous, that works great. But if you're recording, say, somebody running and you can hear the footsteps on here, it's gonna sound weird if the footsteps don't exactly match what you see on screen. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're using a little audio recorder and trying to add a little bit of audio to your video. Make sure that if you're not feeding it into the camera, make sure that the motion isn't gonna have a mismatch. And lastly, these Bose noise canceling headphones have come in super handy. I love how well these things cancel the noise. I got these as a refurbished unit off the Bose website, I think. And you basically turn it on and it cuts out almost all ambient noise just through the noise canceling. It puts an inverse sound wave to cancel out sound. These are really helpful if you're recording an interview and you need to put these on and you can hear what the camera is recording and not have all the ambient sound around you interfering with the levels check. It's also great when you're editing. I use these to edit, plug them in, or I don't plug them in, I use the wireless function, connect to my computer, cut out all the ambient sound, and I can really edit a lot more effectively and get my levels more accurate because I can really hear what's going on. Something to keep in mind when you're using a good set of headphones is that the audio that you're gonna hear when you listen to video, say you're editing in Premiere, it's gonna sound a lot better here. So it's always just a good check to make sure that you play back audio, say on your phone speakers, and just make sure that you can actually hear the things that you could hear when you were using really good headphones. Because sometimes there's a bit of a mismatch when you've got a poor quality speaker and you think you have everything dialed in and it just, you can't hear as clearly. So that's something to keep in mind. As a little bonus, I highly suggest a couple little accessories. So this little dead cat goes on top of this Tascam, cuts the wind noise, allows you to record things when things are windy. And then SD cards and batteries. I think those are essential, making sure that you have plenty of batteries, backup batteries. I like the rechargeable ones. Just making sure you've got everything covered so that when you fill up an SD card, you've got another one. And that can be even more essential than having a bunch of audio equipment, is just making sure that you've got all the accessories to keep everything charged and keep everything recording. Thanks so much for watching. I will link everything down below in the description. Some of this stuff you can find used, and so I'll try to put some links that are appropriate for that. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. Love to interact and help people out, trying to figure out what I can do to make their production even better. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.